Train the muscles, not the joints. I had somebody the other day ask me if they could combine 2 types of training techniques in one training program in one day and get the same result as if they were training 2 separate days and applying the 2 separate techniques to 2 separate days. So what this was is they said, if I did like a reverse pyramid type training, so I get the heavyweight in and then I rep out at the end of my workout, would that be the same as me doing, you know, a high rep day and a low rep day separately? And I will give a resounding no. No, it is not the same, because you're creating a different environment. You're combining 2 techniques. So first of all, you're burning yourself out with the heavyweight, which is good, that's fine. And then you're doing reps. Now, obviously, if you go to do reps after doing heavyweight for several sets, say you do 4 or 5 sets or whatever of heavyweight, then you go to repping out, you're not gonna get as many reps. Say I did 225 on the bench for the first set and I did it for 30 reps. If I did heavyweight first and then I go to 225 to doing reps, I won't be able to get 30 reps. I'll get less reps. You know what I'm saying? So there's going to be a different type of adaptation that's caused in the body. There's going to be different types of muscle fibers that are used from that technique, and it will cause a different type of stimulus, right? So that doesn't mean it's right or wrong. It just means it's a different tool in your toolbox. It's a different training day altogether. Now, when I go into the gym and I say I'm going to do a 30 rep day or 20 rep day, I start off with a couple warm-ups to make sure I'm nice and warm, and then I go into the weight that I can get that high rep with, right? So I might choose 225, 275, 315, depending on what I'm doing, what exercise I'm doing. And then I stay at that weight, and then yeah, my reps will come down, but my goal is absolute exhaustion and fatigue. So basically the first set, how many reps I get will dictate what type of intensity I'm going to use in that workout. Now, if I choose to go in there and say do weight that I can only get 10 reps with, after of course my warm-ups, because I had somebody mix this up, warm up, you always warm up, okay? But if I warm up first and then I do a weight that I can only do 5 or 7 reps with, and I do multiple sets of that, that's a different type of stimulus. You see, that's a different type of stress, right? So one thing I've learned in the gym is nothing is the same, although it might look the same, right? If you do a bent over row with dumbbells and a bent over row with barbell, it's totally different. Might look similar to the average person that doesn't understand the intricacies and the complications of the biomechanics of the body, okay? But it is not the same. It will create a different type of stimulus. So you have to stop oversimplifying things. And right now on the internet, there's this mass stupidity going on, you know, and I'm not saying the person that made the comment's dumb, because they're smart. They seem very smart. They know what they're doing. But what I'm saying is there's this mass stupidity going on separately on the internet that says, let's combine everything and it's all the same. I'm going to run a marathon and then lift weights over my head, you know, like CrossFit. It's just the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life. It's totally stupid. Now, if you do lifting weights over the head, that's a very smart exercise. But the last thing you want to be is fatigued in your lower back when you do that. You don't want your lower back and hips to be fatigued, because that's when they're not protecting the spine anymore, and that's when herniations or ligament tweaks and stuff can develop. That's why I see people every day, they're like, oh, I hurt myself. Oh, where did you hurt? Oh, I went to CrossFit. Well, yeah, of course, because it's a different type of thing. You cannot combine one sport that's based on making you totally fatigued and then a power sport and then think that there's not going to be a repercussion for it when you're dependent on your muscles to stabilize your areas to protect you, you know? Like, you don't want to have a relaxed abdomen when Muhammad Ali's giving you a punch to the breadbasket, right? That's basically the whole point. You want to have enough energy left so you can flex the muscles, right? So that way you can protect your internal organs. Otherwise, you're going away, right? You're going to die if you take a hit from Muhammad Ali in the stomach. So what I'm saying to you is that there are certain reasons why you don't combine things. Not everything is supposed to be combined, you know? You don't need to do the splits on 2 chairs like Van Damme and to put 1,000 pounds on your back. This is just dumb. It's overstimulating an area and basically just tearing it apart. You're not even actually being reasonable at that point, you know? You know, on that note, you know, what this guy was asking before was a reasonable thing, and combining those techniques is fine. You can rep out and have heavy day and then rep out at the end. That's a totally reasonable request, and I'm not saying not to do that, but I'm just saying it is a different type of stimulus than you say starting with lightweight and repping out as much as you can, you know? So these are different types of stimulus that you have to be aware of. They will have different ways of causing the body to adapt, and although it might look similar, it is not the same thing. Okay, that's really my point, right? So I hope this helps you in your training. Make sure you share my stuff if you like it, and I'll see you at naturalgallantbodybuilding.com or the Natural Gallant Bodybuilding group on Facebook, okay? Take care for now.